Half-Life 3 confirmed? There is a strong connection between the history of Half-Life 3 and the history and reputation of Valve Corporation, the company that is responsible for founding the franchise. This connection is significant at a substantial level. There is sufficient strength in this connection for it to be regarded as a linkage. Beginning with the release of the original Half-Life game in the year 1998, Valve quickly established itself as a major power in the gaming business. This was the beginning of Valve's dominant position in the industry. Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington, both of whom had previously held positions at Microsoft during the course of their respective careers, were the individuals who came up with the idea for the startup. Half-Life 2, a sequel that was produced by Valve in 2004, further established the company's previous status as a pioneer in the field for the video game industry. As a result of the game's one-of-a-kind blend of story and immersive gameplay, new standards were established for the first-person shooter genre. There was a sequel that was released after the game was completed. The video game Half-Life 2 received a lot of attention for its physics-based gameplay, which was powered by the revolutionary Source engine that was available at the time. The plot of the game was commended for being both rich and engaging, and it was praised for expanding the universe that was contained in the game that came before it. The conclusion of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 was sudden, leaving players with a number of different storylines that were not handled in the game. A few examples of this are the circumstances surrounding the deaths of significant individuals and the imminent threat posed by the Combine, which is the name of the extraterrestrial society that serves as the primary antagonistic force in the game. Fans were under the notion that the plot would be totally completed in Half-Life 2 Episode 3, but as the years passed without any additional releases, the focus switched to Half-Life 3. In spite of the fact that Valve is famous for its careful approach and its refusal to commit to delivery schedules, the firm has kept mute regarding the state of the game, which has led to an unprecedented level of speculation and hype from the internet community. Throughout the course of time, there have been a great number of employees of Valve, as well as those who have an in-depth familiarity with the company, who have supplied tantalizing hints regarding the existence of Half-Life 3. Over the course of the time that Valve was experimenting with new gameplay concepts and technology, the game has gone through a number of different versions. These iterations have been produced over the course of the time period. Despite the fact that these variations were ultimately discarded, the game has been played in a number of different iterations. One of the most major obstacles that Valve has encountered is the immense amount of pressure that it has gone through in order to achieve the incredibly high expectations that its fans have for the creators. A situation was established in which any new entry in the series would not only need to match those of its predecessors, but it would also need to transcend them in terms of the ideas and effects they brought to the table. This was due to the fact that the previous two games in the series were particularly successful. The completion of this task was a challenging endeavor, and it is conceivable that it was one of the factors that contributed to the game's protracted absence after it had been discontinued. The publication of Half-Life Alyx in the year 2020 was a significant achievement for the franchise. This was due to the fact that it was the first new installment in the Half-Life series in more than a decade. As a result of the fact that it was the first part in the series, this consequence occurred. The virtual reality experience that is commonly referred to as Half-Life Alyx was developed by Valve Technologies. This was done with the intention of demonstrating the company's unwavering dedication to being at the forefront of technological breakthroughs in the gaming industry. Multiple individuals were of the opinion that the success of the game was evidence that Valve still maintains the creative impulse to return to the Half-Life universe for the purpose of further development. This was the opinion of a large number of persons. In interviews, Gabe Newell, who is the co-founder and managing director of Valve, has made cryptic comments that give the impression that the business is interested in exploring new Half-Life projects. There have been multiple interviews in which these remarks have been brought up. On the other hand, he has been very careful to refrain from making any pronouncements that may be regarded definition with reference to Half-Life 3. The fact that the mystery that has been surrounding Half-Life 3 has not been solved has resulted in the emergence of a cultural phenomena that is unprecedented in its scope. Ironically, the phrase Half-Life 3 confirmed has become a joke that is used in response to any statement from Valve that is ambiguous or unrelated to the production of video games. This is due to the fact that the phrase has gained a lot of popularity. According to the fact that allusions to the game have been made in movies, television programs, and other video games, the absence of the game has also had an effect on other aspects of popular culture. This can be shown by looking at the fact that references to the game have been made. As a result of a community-driven conjecture that has taken on a life of its own, fans are carefully examining every comment that is related to Valve in an effort to find hidden hints or Easter eggs that may provide a hint about the development of the game. This is being done in an effort to provide information about the game's development. Throughout the course of the past few years, the Half-Life universe has been maintained in a variety of various ways, thanks to the development of modding and fan-made projects. These methods have been used to keep the universe alive. The accomplishment of both of these items has been achieved. The other side of the coin is that there have been efforts such as Black Mesa, which is a fan-made remake of the original Half-Life, that have garnered critical acclaim and demonstrated the enthusiasm and commitment of the community that is linked with the game. Despite the fact that these initiatives are not intended to serve as a substitute for an official Half-Life 3, they do bring to light the continuous influence that the series has had and the community's desire to see the story continue. The video game Half-Life 3 is more than just a work of fiction about a game that may or may not exist. Rather, it is a reflection of the difficult relationship that exists between game makers and the customers that they serve. The narrative focuses on a game that may or may not exist in the real world. It is a credit to both the power of storytelling in video games and the strong emotional bonds that players create with the characters and environments they inhabit that the game has been met with such a great deal of enthusiasm. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.